Hey everybody, how we doing? How we doing today? Listen, I think everything is working and I'm streaming on all platforms. Awesome. And listen, you got a new view today. I've changed the angle. You're probably not used to seeing me with my glasses either. Um, all new stuff. All right, hope you're well. Hope you're all back in a routine after the Easter break and, back into your training, back into your dieting. All right. And, back after that best physique that you're trying to achieve, hopefully. All right. Listen, today's topic is a smart one, hence the glasses, is muscle dysmorphia, okay, which you probably heard. And it's a form of body dysmorphic disorder, BDD, which you're probably more familiar with than muscle dysmorphia, MD. But I'm going to speak about muscle dysmorphia today quickly. By the way, I'm using a new microphone. Hopefully that's coming through fine. All right, we'll find out at the end of this video. Okay. So basically, yeah, talking about muscle dysmorphia, because a lot of my audience are dudes and they potentially want to build muscle, and they might even have a little bit of MD without even realizing. Okay, MD is basically being way over preoccupied and worried about being small. All right, specifically for a guy mainly. All right, or they feel like they're not muscular enough, or even despite having a kind of good build, or in many cases even having an extremely buff big body, like bodybuilders. Okay, in other words, like how people with muscle dysmorphia think about the size of their body is sort of distorted. Okay, sometimes to the point of seeming delusional. Okay, this is when it gets really serious. So I have a smirk on my face because I know personally I have a little bit of MD, and not that I'm delusional, but I know that many bodybuilders out there are muscle dysmorphic as well. When they look in the mirror, they see something a lot smaller than they are. Okay, it's generally, when you're muscularly developed already, right? Like I said, but you look in the mirror and you still see a small version of yourself, right? But you know what? Personally, I think a little bit of MD is kind of motivating, because when you look in the mirror and you still look small. To be honest, I mean it's kind of motivating to hit the gym, right? But saying that, there is the extreme version of that and the opposite of that. But in my case, for example, I know I have a small version of MD because when I look in the mirror, I do see a smaller guy. I really do, and I want to put on muscle. But this is validated when I stand to someone that is sort of muscular as well, or sort of a big set person, and I go, oh, actually, I am kind of big. I am actually. It takes that kind of validation to hit my head and go, gee, you are big, Andre. Not that you should slow down at all. Okay. But yeah, whether that's standing next to someone on the stage, on the bodybuilding stage, or even just standing to someone that might be a big build, having that physique next to you, then you actually realize, oh, okay, you might actually have a big physique. But other than that, I think I'm a little bit MD, and I think a lot of bodybuilders out there are as well. Okay, because they just look small when they look in the mirror, no matter what. Okay, having a bit of MD is actually a huge confidence booster. I think because and because it's addictive, right? Like you always want to get bigger, which is not a bad thing. And you always want to improve, right? Hence, the gym and building muscle is addictive, right? It is an addictive thing. So if you look at it this way, I do personally, and a lot of bodybuilders out there have an addictive personality as well. All right. So the gym and working out is like a drug. Okay. You live off the endorphins, you live off the feelings of training, you live off the improvements you make on your body. And to be honest, it's a far better addiction than, say, smoking. And mind you, I did smoke in my 20s a lot as well. So, if you look at it that way, the addiction has progressed to fitness, which is fantastic, I think. I was going to take it too overboard. So I know most guys out there who are skinny at the moment, right? They mainly want to build muscle to feel confident. They mainly want to build muscle to look and feel better about themselves. Okay. But to all my body dysmorphic bodybuilders out there, which a lot of them are, all right, you keep looking in the mirror and seeing a small version of yourself, right? Which is not a bad thing. Like I said, everyone wants to improve, but there can be a little bit too much when you start worrying about this far too much, and it becomes impactful in other areas of your life and takes over. Okay. Like I said, guys, you can feed off that little bit of empty when you look in the mirror, and you feel small. You can feed off that and hit yourself harder in the gym. So if you do catch yourself being a little bit depressed when you look in the mirror and not happy with your physique, and you do catch yourself stuff like engaging with repeated behaviors, and sort of mentally reviewing your perceived physique. You keep looking at your flaws, you keep looking at your defects. If you keep getting down about that, and it's a constant thing, you might have a bit more serious side of muscle dysmorphia. Okay. Some examples would be like consistently checking the appearance of your muscles in the mirror and reflective surfaces. No matter where you go, you might think he's just up himself for something, but maybe he has a bit of he or she has a bit of body muscle dysmorphia. Maybe they're engaging in like constant rituals about their muscles, and this is like a consistent thing, right? So there are extreme cases where muscle dysmorphia can be a problem in life, all right? But I think most people have this under control. There's no specific causes known for MD, but the factors such as like biology, stuff like the way you've been brought up, like being teased, being bullied, while growing up, problematic views and ways of thinking, can cause an impact in wanting in MD and having it as a major problem. Also, guys, you've got this the additional sort of cultural and media influence that create this sort of unrealistic model of a body of perfection these days. Okay, this is another thing that can affect MD, and it's a lot of it's both unattainable and not necessary. But this does play a huge role in our thinking as a society as well, and especially young men. A lot of men with MD are in their 20s as well, okay? And finally, like the low self-esteem and stuff like feeling socially isolated and loneliness and all that kind of stuff can have a big impact on MD as well. Listen, in most cases, guys, it's not a serious problem. For most people, it's something to take note of, though. It's something to realize that you might be a bit muscle dysmorphic when you look in the mirror, but it's not a bad thing, okay? I myself still look in the mirror and still feel bloody small until I stand next to someone probably my size and go, oh, actually, I'm a big lad, okay? So this could be the case. It's all psychology. It's all interesting stuff. I hope this was kind of insightful today, and get out there and train, guys. Get bigger muscles, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.